So, what happens when our biggest challenge isn't just about the environment, but about the very story we tell ourselves about who we are? Well, today we're diving into the work of historian Dipesh Chakrabarty, who makes the pretty profound argument that climate change is forcing us to completely rewrite human history itself.
I mean, think about it. The history we all learn is built on a foundation we pretty much never question. But what happens if that entire foundation starts to crack under the weight of climate change? This is the huge, provocative question that's right at the heart of everything Chakrabarty is talking about.
And that brings us to the first major plot twist in this whole story. It all starts by erasing a line we've been drawing for centuries. You know, the one that separates our story from the story of the planet.
For the longest time, we've basically seen history like this. On one side, you've got human history. That's our fast-paced drama, with empires, revolutions, and all our big ideas. And then, over on the other side, there's natural history, the slow, kind of timeless and passive backdrop. The mountains, the oceans, the seasons. One was our stage, the other was just the scenery.
But here's the thing. Chakrabarty argues that this neat little separation, it just doesn't work anymore. Through all our collective activities, our industries, our farming, our sheer numbers, we've started acting with the force of a volcano or an ice age. We're not just the actors on the stage anymore. We're now fundamentally reshaping the stage itself.
So this new reality, it has a name. And when you start to understand it, it reveals this deep, deep contradiction that's been buried in our favorite stories about progress and freedom.
Scientists call this new age the Anthropocene, the age of humans. Why? Because it marks the first time in Earth's billions of years of history where the main driver of planetary change isn't a meteor or shifting continents. It's a single species. It's us.
And what's really wild is just how normal this has all become. Our power to move Earth on a massive scale has become so naturalized, so baked into our world that we've literally turned the tools of our geological power into children's toys. It just shows how deep this power runs in our modern lives.
30 trillion tons. That's the mind-boggling estimate for the weight of our technosphere. That's everything humanity has ever built. We're talking cities, roads, smartphones, landfills, the whole shebang. It's a man-made layer that weighs more than 50 kilograms for every single square meter of the Earth's surface, a system we now completely, utterly depend on.
And here's the kicker. Here's the deep irony. The entire historical project of modernity, the pursuit of freedom, of rights, of progress, that really got going with the Enlightenment, well, it was all powered by the very same fossil fuels that have accidentally turned us into this dangerous geological force.
Okay, let's unpack a really crucial distinction that helps us get our heads around why this crisis is so tricky. Chakrabarty asks us to think about the difference between the globe and the planet. Now, they sound the same, right? But they represent two totally different ways of seeing the world.
And this lays it out perfectly. The globe is the world we made. It's our human-centered system of trade, politics, and culture. That's the story of globalization. The planet, on the other hand, is the ancient, massive Earth system. Its story is one of geology and evolution, operating on timescales we can barely imagine. It's a system that ultimately is completely indifferent to us, but it's the one we've now seriously disturbed.
So this new awareness of the planet, it forces us into this kind of double vision. We have to start seeing ourselves and our history in two completely different ways, all at the same time. Chakrabarty uses this fantastic analogy to explain it. Imagine you're just living your life thinking only about your personal story, your job, your family, your memories. Then you go to the doctor and get a diabetes diagnosis. All of a sudden, you're forced to confront this deep, impersonal history that you can't even feel directly. Thousands of years of your ancestors' diets, millions of years of human evolution that is now defining your daily life.
And that's exactly where we are. We're all living in two nows at once. We're still the characters in our familiar, fast-paced human story, but we are also, at the exact same time, a biological species that is acting as a powerful geological force. The real challenge is learning how to hold both of those identities at the same time. Now, this creates a huge political problem, right? Because we can't feel or experience being a species or a geological force. It's just not something you can sense. So how on earth are we supposed to act together on a planetary scale?
Chakrabarty suggests that a new kind of we is starting to emerge. But it's not a we that's based on some shared culture or a common political dream. Nope, it's a we that's born from a shared predicament. It's a universal identity that's being forged not by hope, but by the cold recognition of a catastrophe that we are all caught in together. And just to be super clear, this isn't about blaming everyone equally. That's not the point. The point is that humanity as a whole, through this massive, complex system we've all built, has become this agent of change. We're all implicated in this system, no matter what our individual intentions are, in a crisis that affects the survival of literally everyone and every.
So we're left with this. For all of history, we were subject to the forces of nature. Now, we are a force of nature. And really grappling with that new reality, well, it changes everything. The stories we tell, the politics we practice, and the kind of future we can even dare to imagine.